Assembly Center. Yeah.
Well, we talked about it. You should hopefully remember all the things that you should be doing.
I was talking about the camera. That's why.
Camera will get you anywhere between, 3 feet over that way and 2 feet over that way. You're okay.
Alright then. Alright folks, so I'd like to talk to y'all about originality and about what that signifies as well. According to a philosopher by the name of Jim Jarbidge, something like that, he did say, in today's day and age, since the 1980s, originality is dead. Nothing is original. You steal from anywhere you can get it from because everything's been made already. I like to talk about that because you can see that in the quote that I've gotten, which she said by L. Peter, she has as much originality as a Xerox machine. I don't know the full context of this statement, but I've taken it as a general statement where they talk about society and life as a whole. And in today's society, let's be honest with each other, we don't really see originality in the media, in people. Everything seems to be taken out from other people, especially you can see in the kind of Hollywood state of mind right now. There's just remakes and reshoots and sequels, especially this year. There are about like 6 horror movie remakes and only 1 original horror movie that came out in February. And you saw people love originality, but it's just so hard to come up with, and it's not something that many people have in their brains, that kind of being able to see something and be like, I want to make a movie off of Stand. I want to make a movie off of social injustice like racism, like Peele made in the movie Get Out. That movie was a fantastic phenomenon for everyone because it was original, it was different, it was interesting too. It was a comedic effect in a horror movie that played out very well. And stuff like that is hard to do because people don't want to do the work and they just see an easy solution of having, I can make a Friday the 13th movie one more time because I know it'll sell. People want to see that. Everyone loves Jason. And things like that make having a lack of originality easy and what causes people to not do it. And I believe originality comes from experiences as well. Many people don't experience things as much as we used to. I feel like the reason why Britain has a more diverse social culture than we do at times is due to the fact that they do take things such as a year abroad to go traveling throughout the culture experiences of different countries. Everyone gets a different experience, unlike here in America sometimes where we stay not stagnant, it's just that we don't leave a different environment and we continuously see our same environment. So how could you continuously make new products out of something different? That's something that you've seen the same for all your life. And also, in the art community as well, there haven't been many big openings. There haven't been like the next Van Gogh or the next Picasso in today's day and age, except for, forgive me for forgetting the artist's name, but there is an artist who came up with the original. It was different than anyone's ever seen. Many disgrace him for having it. It's the splatter artist. Everyone knows that artist that like just throws paint at the canvas and it's just splatter, that's all it is. But except it's original and it's art, and that's why that cost him millions of dollars, because he was the first one to think about it. Originality is priceless. Originality is something that people should continuously strive for. And people don't have that anymore. So my advice to everyone here is to take note from this. And I know in this quote he is blaming the woman for not having originality and saying it's just like a Xerox machine, but I feel like something like that is just a symbolizing way of telling them to strive for more and continuously try to better yourself. Thank you for your time.
All right, Daniel, you identify the topic at the beginning of the speech. You were a little unclear. It sounded like you had a quote that you wanted to use, but you couldn't quite remember exactly how it was phrased.
Yeah.
That was a little bit awkward. But you then identify what the topic quote is, which is solid. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not as clear on what your point of view is as you need to be, and there's not really a preview of what the structure of the speech is going to be. So that's a little bit of a problem at the beginning in the introduction of the speech. Mm-hmm. However, the speech is organized. You've got 3 distinct areas that you're talking about. and I appreciated that. I thought that the first one worked out pretty well. You had a good example that you were able to go into a little detail on about the films, and you went through that whole process, and I had several things that you talked about there. I thought that filled in pretty well. The experience one, I think, is a little bit ambiguous. You do make reference to the way apparently people do things differently in Great Britain, but you don't have any examples or details on that. And the assumption that there's going to be something different that as a result of that, that something's more original as a consequence, I think needs to be shown a little bit more. And the art community one, I think, is a pretty good example also, although I'm not exactly sure that the artist you're talking about is that original. It seems like I've been seeing splatter painting forever, so I'm not sure. Like you said, you think everybody knows about it. I'm not sure everybody does know about it, but the idea that they're trying something different, and that's what makes them successful. I like that. Delivery issues, you're solid for the most part. There are a couple of things that are a little problematic. The knuckle cracking at the beginning is a little bit of anxiety release that looks awkward when you're speaking in front of an audience. I do think that you look up at the audience for the most part, but you do want to try and engage people a little bit more. Your tendency is to focus here, I think, because I'm here and the camera's here. But don't forget that there are people over there and people over there. So, make sure you're looking around a little bit more. Sometimes the hand goes into the pocket, but most of the time you've got reasonable gestures while you're speaking. I think you could use a summary at the end. That would kind of rescue the absence of a preview at the beginning. If you can kind of go back and realize, well, there was a structure here. Let me remind you what it was. Here's the point that I'm trying to make, and that would finish off your speech a little bit more effectively. All right, thank you.